I would like to run a D&D campaign, not with 4 players, but a truly massive campaign with multiple DMs and dozens of players in various clans and factions that's interconnected with a meta plot, something that seems absurdly unrealistic in its scope. And it is. It would never work. A truly epic fantasy story needs coherence, but how do you get all those players and DMs to commit? You can't. It's difficult to get 5 people together. Heck, it's difficult even for just me to commit to a time. The more players and DMs, the more it becomes exponentially impossible. It's a nice thought experiment, but it would never happen. Or could it? Maybe there is a way to simulate it by using generative AI. I just don't see any other choice. This technology is a way to do it that wouldn't have been possible before. Yes, I too would much prefer humans. In general, I'm definitely much more interested in plumbing the emotional depths and complexities of a human than those of a machine. But for reasons mentioned before, it won't happen. So I think this technology is worth exploring. And what I need is a proof of concept. So I created a town in a Slavic fantasy setting called Eldentown with 16 NPCs, each given a unique personality and background story. Some may be controlled with a different platform of generative AI, that remains to be seen. But they won't be walking around and role-playing autonomously like in that experiment Google and Stanford did, which, in case you haven't heard of, they had 25 generative AI NPCs move about and talk to each other with the conclusion that it can be done and they can simulate human behavior believably. It's actually pretty awesome. You can even replay it and watch their conversations and see what they were able to accomplish. It's not something for a complex RPG like Neverwinter Nights. They literally built up their own game for that. Suffice to say, using an old existing engine makes any such attempt astronomically more difficult. Even then, this project had a team of 6 who knew what they were doing, and it still required a substantial amount of time and resources to simulate 25 agents for 2 days, costing thousands of dollars in token credits. So instead, I'll be communicating the conversations between the characters like a simple messenger. Some characters may be part of Hive Mind, which means they're controlled by the same AI without separating them into different NPCs. Basically, it makes it easier when a single AI gets to control multiple characters. The more important ones will have their own individual AI, or I will take control of them in important moments. We'll see. If it works, for the next phase, maybe instead of me creating all the characters, actual humans, players, can create the characters, and it will be sort of like a zero players game, where players make the characters and they're played out by AI. Or maybe I can scale it up, creating 2 or 3 or 4 factions. For now, I'm starting relatively small, with a single town and 16 NPCs. Let me give you a small preview. For starters, I uploaded a document to ChatGPT detailing the setting, the NPCs and their background stories, and even added a map so it would have a visual reference. As the DM, I set the first event. The local farmer, Miroslav, wakes up to seeing his crop destroyed. Upset, he'd ask his son to call Radomir. That's when I had to stop it. I thought it got something wrong. Why Radomir? Radomir is the leader of the militia, but Mikhail is the experienced tracker, so I asked ChatGPT why Miroslav had asked for Radomir and not for Mikhail. He answered that Miroslav likely called Radomir instead of Mikhail because Radomir is the militia captain and a figure of authority in Eldentown. Miroslav trusts Radomir's leadership, discipline and strategic thinking to address the threat to his crops. While Mikhail is a skilled ranger with a deep knowledge of the forest, his reputation for being independent and occasionally reckless might make him less of a first choice for a problem that could endanger the town's stability. Radomir's role as a protector and his established rapport with the community makes him the logical person for Miroslav to turn to in a crisis. Well, that's actually true. It made perfect sense to me. So this is just a preview for now. I'm still working on the full video. I can tell you it gets pretty interesting. For the next round, I'd like to get a few human-made characters in, so feel free to submit yours, link in the description, and till next time.